What if the problem isn't that you're not drinking enough water? It's that your water is biologically incomplete? Hydration alone does not signal your body to repair skin. Your cells don't just need water, they need information. They need micronutrients that activate collagen synthesis, calm inflammation, and protect the microscopic architecture that keeps skin firm, smooth, and resilient. When you add the right compounds to water, you don't just hydrate, you communicate with your biology. Today, we'll explore how to turn a simple glass of water into a daily signal for stronger collagen, tighter skin, and healthier aging, using evidence-based nutrition. Most people believe collagen loss is simply the result of getting older, a slow and inevitable fading of the skin structure. But biology tells a very different story, because collagen is not something you passively lose. It is something your body is constantly trying to rebuild every single day, every single minute, through a complex, energy-dependent process that requires precise nutritional signals to function. Inside your skin cells are specialized builders called fibroblasts, and their job is to assemble collagen the way engineers assemble steel cables, aligning amino acids into strong, flexible fibers that give skin its firmness and resilience. Yet these cellular builders cannot work with raw materials alone. They require activation keys, micronutrients that switch on the enzymes responsible for stabilizing and cross-linking those fibers. Without those activation signals, the body may have enough protein available, but the construction process stalls, producing collagen that is weak, fragmented, or never completed at all, which is why simply consuming protein or drinking plain water does not automatically translate into healthier skin. Research in skin physiology shows that collagen synthesis depends heavily on cofactors that regulate enzymatic reactions, antioxidant protection, and cellular hydration status, and when those elements are missing, fibroblast activity slows, oxidative stress rises, and the body begins breaking down collagen faster than it can rebuild it. This imbalance is not visible at first, but beneath the surface, the structural matrix of the skin starts to thin, like scaffolding quietly being dismantled, leading to reduced elasticity, slower repair, and the gradual appearance of fine lines that many assume are purely age-related, when in fact they reflect a mismatch between biological demand and nutritional signaling. Hydration alone cannot correct this, because water without supportive compounds moves quickly through the body without delivering instructions, like turning on a construction site's water supply, but never delivering the blueprints or tools needed to actually build. When key nutrients are present in that water, however, entirely different pathways are activated. Enzymes responsible for collagen maturation begin functioning efficiently. Antioxidant defenses reduce the molecular damage that frays existing fibers, and cells retain hydration more effectively, allowing the skin to maintain its internal pressure and smoothness. This is why modern nutritional science increasingly focuses not just on what we eat, but on how frequently we provide the body with small, usable signals throughout the day, since collagen metabolism is continuous and responds far better to steady support than to occasional large doses of nutrients. The remarkable truth is that your skin is not passively aging. It is actively responding to the environment you create internally, constantly deciding whether to repair or to conserve, whether to rebuild or to break down. And that decision is influenced by the microscopic ingredients present in something as simple as the water you drink. When you understand that collagen production is an activated process rather than an automatic one, you begin to see that maintaining firm, resilient skin is less about fighting time and more about supplying your biology with the signals it has needed all along. Deep within your skin, at a scale invisible to the human eye, a silent chemical reaction is taking place that determines whether your face reflects strength and vitality or gradual decline. And that reaction depends on a single nutrient more than almost any other: vitamin C. This is not a beauty trend or a cosmetic discovery, but a biological requirement so essential that without it, your body cannot properly manufacture collagen at all. A fact first discovered when scientists studying scurvy observed that patients didn't just feel weak, Their skin literally began to fall apart because their collagen could no longer hold tissues together. Vitamin C acts as a molecular spark plug, activating enzymes known as prolyl and lysyl hydroxylases, which stabilize and shape collagen into the tight, resilient structure that keeps skin firm. Yet without enough of this nutrient, those enzymes fail to function, leaving collagen strands fragile, poorly formed, and easily damaged by everyday stress. Imagine trying to build a suspension bridge with cables that were never reinforced. They might look intact for a while, but under tension they begin to fray. And this is exactly what happens beneath the surface of undernourished skin long before wrinkles ever appear. Modern research shows that vitamin C also serves as one of the body's most powerful antioxidants, neutralizing reactive oxygen species generated by sunlight, pollution, and even normal metabolism, all of which can slice through collagen like microscopic blades if left unchecked. Each day, your skin is exposed to thousands of these oxidative assaults, and without protective nutrients, they accumulate silently, degrading the very fibers responsible for smoothness and elasticity. What makes this even more compelling is that the human body cannot produce vitamin C on its own, unlike most animals, meaning we rely entirely on what we consume to maintain this repair system. And when intake is inconsistent, collagen production slows within days, not years, revealing how dynamically the skin responds to nutritional signals. Scientists have observed that when vitamin C is delivered regularly in small bioavailable amounts, fibroblast cells increase their collagen output while also reducing inflammatory signaling that accelerates aging, creating a dual effect of building new structure while defending existing tissue. This is why occasional supplementation cannot fully replicate the benefits of steady exposure through whole foods and infused hydration, because the skin thrives on continuity, on the repeated message that the resources for repair are always available. When vitamin C circulates consistently in the bloodstream, it not only strengthens collagen, but also helps regenerate vitamin E and other antioxidants, forming an interconnected defense network that preserves cellular integrity and improves the skin's ability to retain moisture from within. The result is not merely cosmetic, it is structural resilience, a restoration of the biological processes that allow skin to behave the way it was designed to when given the right conditions. Understanding this transforms the way we think about hydration, because water alone cannot deliver these biochemical instructions, but water paired with natural sources of vitamin C becomes a vehicle for renewal, a simple daily act that repeatedly tells your body to stabilize, protect, and rebuild. In this light, supporting your skin is no longer about chasing youth, but about restoring function, giving your cells the one signal they cannot create themselves, yet desperately need to maintain the architecture that keeps you looking vibrant, strong, and alive. Right now, as you listen to this, your skin is under attack, not by time, not by age, but by an invisible storm of molecular damage known as oxidative stress, a process so constant and relentless that scientists estimate our cells endure tens of thousands of oxidative hits every single day, each one capable of weakening the collagen framework that keeps skin smooth and firm. These attacks come from sources you cannot completely avoid: sunlight, air pollution, blood sugar fluctuations, even the act of breathing, creating unstable molecules called free radicals that behave like microscopic sparks, colliding with collagen fibers and breaking their structure strand by strand. What makes this especially alarming is that once collagen is damaged, the body must divert energy to repair it. And when damage outpaces repair, the skin enters a deficit state, gradually losing density, elasticity, and resilience. This is where polyphenols, the protective compounds found in many plant foods, become biologically extraordinary, because they do not simply act as nutrients, they function as molecular shields, neutralizing free radicals before they can harm collagen and signaling the body to reduce the inflammatory pathways that accelerate tissue breakdown. Research in nutritional biochemistry has shown that polyphenols can inhibit enzymes called matrix metalloproteinases, which are activated by stress and UV exposure and are directly responsible for degrading collagen in the skin, essentially acting like demolition crews that become overactive when the body senses danger. Without protective signals, these enzymes remain elevated, quietly dismantling the very structure we are trying to preserve, but when polyphenols are present, they help calm this response, shifting the body from destruction back toward maintenance and repair. What's remarkable is that this protection doesn't require massive doses. The body responds powerfully to small, frequent exposures, the kind you can deliver throughout the day when these compounds are infused into something as routine as the water you drink. Instead of allowing oxidative damage to accumulate hour after hour, you create repeated moments of defense, reinforcing your internal antioxidant network and preserving the collagen you already have. This is crucial because preventing collagen loss is metabolically easier than rebuilding it, meaning protection is not just helpful, it is efficient, conserving the body's resources while maintaining structural integrity. Scientists now understand that aging skin is not simply a story of declining production, but of unchecked breakdown, a tug-of-war between repair and damage, and polyphenols help tip that balance back in your favor by stabilizing the environment in which collagen exists. They also support microcirculation, improving the delivery of oxygen and nutrients to skin cells, which further enhances resilience and recovery from daily stressors. When you consistently include these protective compounds, you are not chasing superficial changes. You are reinforcing the biological architecture that allows skin to remain strong under pressure. Over time, this steady defense translates into texture that appears smoother, elasticity that feels restored, and a complexion that reflects not just hydration but protection at the deepest cellular level, proving that one of the most powerful strategies for preserving youthful skin is not rebuilding what's already lost, but safeguarding what your body is still working tirelessly to maintain. When we talk about hydration, most people imagine simply drinking more water, believing that volume alone can restore vitality to the skin. Yet biology reveals a far more complex truth, because water by itself cannot fully enter and remain inside your cells without the presence of trace minerals that act as gatekeepers, regulating fluid balance, electrical signaling, and the very pressure that keeps skin looking firm rather than fatigued. Inside every cell membrane are microscopic channels known as ion transporters, and these structures depend on minerals like potassium, magnesium, and sodium in precise natural ratios to move water where it is actually needed, meaning that without these elements, much of the water you drink passes through the body without ever achieving true cellular hydration. This is why researchers studying skin physiology have found that dehydration is often not a lack of water, but a lack of mineral-supported water retention, a condition sometimes described as internal dryness, where the surface may appear hydrated temporarily, yet the deeper layers remain unable to maintain structure. Collagen itself is highly dependent on this internal environment, because its fibers exist within a gel-like matrix composed largely of water held in place by electrolytes, creating the tension and volume that gives skin its smooth, lifted appearance. When mineral balance is compromised, that matrix begins to lose its integrity, the skin's microarchitecture subtly collapses, and what you see externally are fine lines that are not caused by age alone, but by a loss of cellular water dynamics. Scientific measurements have shown that proper electrolyte presence enhances osmotic balance, allowing cells to maintain shape and resist environmental stress, which directly affects elasticity and resilience. This also influences how nutrients are transported into the skin and how waste products are removed, meaning minerals are not just supporting hydration, they are coordinating the entire metabolic conversation happening within the tissue. Historically, humans obtained these trace elements naturally from food and water sources rich in geological minerals, but modern filtration and dietary patterns often remove them, leaving us with fluid that quenches thirst without delivering the signals required for lasting hydration. When small amounts of naturally occurring minerals are reintroduced, they help restore this communication network, improving how cells absorb and hold water, while supporting the enzymes involved in maintaining connective tissue stability. The effect is subtle but profound, a restoration of the skin's internal environment so that collagen fibers remain cushioned, flexible, and less prone to mechanical stress. Over time, this mineral-supported hydration enhances the skin's barrier function, reducing transepidermal water loss and helping the body maintain equilibrium even in challenging climates or under metabolic strain. What makes this discovery so powerful is that it reframes hydration from a passive act into an active biological strategy, one that depends not on how much you drink, but on what accompanies that water into your system. When you understand that trace minerals are essential partners in cellular hydration, you begin to see that supporting skin health is not about flooding the body, but about delivering the precise elements that allow every drop of water to be used wisely, strengthening the internal scaffolding that keeps skin resilient, balanced, and visibly alive. For decades, we have been told that wrinkles are simply the marks of time, an unavoidable consequence of getting older. Yet modern science paints a far more revealing picture, showing that the true driver behind visible skin aging is not the clock, but chronic, low-grade inflammation, quietly unfolding beneath the surface every single day. This type of inflammation is not the dramatic swelling you notice after an injury. It is subtle, persistent, and often invisible, triggered by factors like excess sugar, environmental toxins, ultraviolet exposure, poor sleep, and psychological stress, all of which send biochemical alarm signals through the body that never fully switch off. Researchers now refer to this phenomenon as inflammaging, a state in which inflammatory molecules such as cytokines remain slightly elevated for years, gradually disrupting the balance between collagen production and collagen destruction. When these signals remain active, they stimulate enzymes that begin dismantling the skin's structural network, weakening the fibers that once gave it strength, much like rust slowly eroding the beams of a building long before collapse is visible. Studies in dermatological science have demonstrated that inflammation increases the activity of matrix metalloproteinases, enzymes that directly degrade collagen and elastin, meaning that each inflammatory surge literally accelerates the breakdown of the skin's support system. At the same time, inflammation interferes with fibroblast function, reducing the body's ability to create new collagen, creating a double impact where repair slows while destruction speeds up. This imbalance does not announce itself overnight. It accumulates silently, gradually thinning the dermal layer, reducing circulation, and impairing the skin's ability to recover from even minor stressors. What is remarkable, however, is that this process is highly responsive to nutritional signals, especially those delivered consistently throughout the day. Certain natural compounds found in foods and botanicals have been shown to modulate inflammatory pathways by influencing transcription factors like NF-κB, essentially calming the cellular alarm system and allowing the body to redirect energy back toward regeneration instead of defense. When inflammation is reduced, blood flow improves, oxidative stress declines, and fibroblasts resume their work of rebuilding the collagen matrix, restoring structural harmony that had been disrupted. Hydration infused with these bioactive elements becomes more than a refreshing habit. It becomes a repeated message to the immune system that the environment is safe, stable, and supportive of repair. Over time, this steady reduction in inflammatory signaling helps preserve the integrity of existing collagen while allowing new fibers to form in an environment less hostile to their survival. The visual outcome of this internal shift is skin that appears calmer, smoother, and more resilient, not because aging has been reversed, but because the biological stress that accelerates aging has been reduced. Understanding this transforms the narrative completely, revealing that wrinkles are not just memories of years lived, but reflections of how the body has managed inflammation over time, and that by addressing this hidden driver through simple, consistent nutritional choices, we can influence the trajectory of skin health far more than we once believed possible. We often search for dramatic transformations, believing that real change must come from powerful treatments or sudden breakthroughs. Yet the human body does not operate through extremes. It responds to repetition, to small signals delivered consistently, shaping biology through patterns that accumulate quietly over time. Every day, your skin is engaged in a continuous cycle of breakdown and renewal, replacing millions of cells, repairing microscopic damage, and reorganizing collagen fibers in response to the environment you create internally, which means the choices you make once are far less important than the choices you repeat. Scientific research into cellular adaptation shows that fibroblasts, the cells responsible for producing collagen, are highly sensitive to regular nutrient exposure, adjusting their activity based on whether supportive compounds appear occasionally or arrive steadily, and when those signals are inconsistent, the body shifts into conservation mode, slowing repair because it cannot predict whether resources will be available tomorrow. This is why quick fixes rarely produce lasting changes. They do not align with the body's preference for reliability. Studies on metabolic signaling reveal that repeated intake of vitamins, antioxidants, and minerals in moderate amounts leads to more stable gene expression related to tissue maintenance, while large, infrequent doses are often metabolized and cleared before they can meaningfully influence long-term repair pathways. Your biology is designed to listen for rhythm, not intensity, responding to daily habits the way plants respond to regular sunlight rather than occasional floods of light. When you infuse simple nutrients into something as routine as the water you drink, you transform an unconscious act into a powerful biological cue, repeated multiple times a day, telling your cells again and again that the environment supports rebuilding rather than merely surviving. Over weeks, this repetition strengthens antioxidant defenses, stabilizes hydration at the cellular level, and encourages collagen-producing enzymes to remain active, gradually shifting the skin's internal balance from reactive to regenerative. The change is subtle at first, often invisible, yet beneath the surface, proteins are being assembled more efficiently, inflammation is being kept in check, and the extracellular matrix that gives skin its firmness is becoming more organized and resilient. This is the essence of physiological resilience, not a sudden reversal of time, but the steady reinforcement of processes that were always meant to sustain you. Behavioral science supports this as well, showing that habits linked to existing routines are far more likely to persist, meaning that enhancing something you already do, like drinking water, creates a sustainable pathway for long-term health signals to reach your cells without requiring willpower or disruption. Over months, these micro-decisions compound, much like interest accumulating in a bank account, resulting in visible improvements that feel natural because they are rooted in the body's own design. What appears from the outside as smoother, firmer skin is actually the reflection of thousands of tiny biological decisions guided by consistency, demonstrating that lasting change does not demand complexity, only the wisdom to work with the rhythms your body already understands and trusts.